Iran just ditched their American satellites, but instead they're going to be using the new Chinese ones. Iran said, quote, "The era of the blind, naive dependence on the US-controlled infrastructure is rapidly coming to an end." If you don't know, Iran currently uses the US-controlled American navigation system called GPS, but the US has just screwed that deal over, it seems. In fact, Iran uses this American-controlled GPS satellite system for pretty much everything, whether it's targeting missiles, finding out where their troops are, sending coordinates, even tracking things like trains. They use it for everything you'd think they use it for. But we now know that during the 12-day war between Iran and Israel, Iran has reported that they believe the American satellites were turned off and disabled for Iran during that, so that Iran couldn't carry out attacks. And so because of that, Iran's decided that the US is no longer trustworthy, and instead they have to find a different alternative. And so they've turned to China, and they're using the Chinese GPS called Beidou. And Iran's transport minister spoke on this. He said, quote, "The Chinese Beidou system not only has advanced architecture and high positioning accuracy, but crucially, its control lies entirely in China's hands, rather than being subject to US oversight." And to be fair, this whole thing is actually going to benefit Iran in a lot of ways, but specifically two of them. One of the main ones being that Iran now has a new navigation system rather than GPS, and some people are saying that this Chinese alternative is actually better and more precise. But the other one, the one that Iran seems to be focusing on, is that the West and the US will no longer be able to disable Iran's navigation satellites, meaning that Iran will be able to use their missiles and weapons in case of a future war. Actually quite interesting, up until recording this, I didn't know that GPS was an American thing and that even China had an alternative to it. So you learn something every day. But as usual, you can leave me a follow for some more global news like this.